Yo, peace to the gods, peace to the earth. This is man, the King of Truth. King Truth is Allah. Coming on this understanding day of October. We're in the 10th month, y'all. It's 2 more months, the year gone. We're in 2025, you understand? Wow. Man, so, oh man, peace. So once again, I'm doing my duty. We was taught, and we are taught, all those that we are taught in the nation of gods and earths, all those that seek knowledge of themselves, the right knowledge, the right and proper knowledge of themselves. We are taught in the nation of gods and earths to be right and exact. Right, when we build, that's why we do a lot of research to support our position, our argument, our ideology, our philosophy. We do a lot of research on, creation and the planet Earth, solar system, human creation, biology, psychology of childhood and adulthood, right? Mental health, good mental health, mental balance. We do a lot of research to be right and exact when we explain, knowledge of self, right? So, I believe that number two in our supreme mathematics should be understanding, knowledge, understanding, wisdom, right? Knowledge, understanding, wisdom, because and so now I'm coming to the understanding that, I was told when I first began the journey into knowledge of self that, we are not a religion. It is not a religion. And so they say it's a lifestyle, right? It's a lifestyle. It's a culture, but we're not a religion. We're supposed to embody what we learn and try to apply it and live right. The letter L in supreme alphabet is live right or love hell. That's the definition of L. Live right or love hell. Some may got it, a little different, but that's how I'm teaching it. Live right or love hell. And so it is so, and so I'm toying with the idea of doing away with wisdom as number 3. Now y'all go, change is, long as change is good, you see, you shouldn't have a problem. But wisdom and divine, I'm toying away with doing away with, or putting them in the museum, the Nation of God's Earth Museum. Putting that in wisdom and divine and changing 3 and 4 to, I may create a word called Winsdom. Winsdom or Winsdom. Winsdom, like W-I-N, Winsdom. Winsdom to, and I might change divine to depth. Depth meaning the level of knowledge, the level of perception you must have to fully understand knowledge of self. You must have depth of a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? The human body, the mind, and the life around you must have depth. You must have depth. So I'm changing because divine once again is a religious word. It is mainly used in the Bible, in religious culture, in religious texts. Wisdom and divine is mainly reserved for religious text, right? And so I don't want to get all Scientology on you, or scientific, but we are supposed to be scientists, and wisdom and divine, I think, are played out. The internet say words do get played out. So this is what I've been thinking about, right? And so when I teach, if someone seeks enlightenment from me to guide them through the knowledge of self, then I might start teaching 3 as wisdom and 4 as depth, right? Instead of wisdom and divine. That's 2 religions. I went to Catholic school from 1st grade to the 8th grade, and then I went to a Baptist church from the time I was born to probably about 21 years old. And my grandmother say, you ain't gotta go no more. When I'm old enough to say no, and then they see I'm all right. But and so I have so I have enough religion that I'm trying to reprogram myself, unbrainwash myself from, right? And so teaching wisdom that to be we have to have a winner's mentality. That's self-esteem. We must have a winner's mentality in order to live out knowledge of self, taking 100% of yourself. And you must have a deep understanding, in-depth, deep understanding of a lot of things, right? So wisdom, so to have a winner's mentality, like y'all say, wisdom is having a wise dome, having a wise mind. Well, to put the definition in the word is not right and exact. You see what I'm saying? Like wise and wisdom. I mean, but yeah, man. So I'm that's what I'm thinking. Wisdom, to have a winner's mentality. To think positive, have a positive, optimistic outlook. A winner's mentality, and the deepest understanding of what we talking about. The deepest the in-depth understanding of what we talking about, which is Father Allah, supreme mathematics, supreme alphabet, and 120. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to really get away from religion and religious words and things that make you think, back to religion, and that's what that does. Those that come from, Catholic and Quran and Baptist and Kojic and Presbyterian, Jehovah's Witness. You see what I'm saying? African Methodists. So, yeah, man. So, peace. And so, I'm gonna touch on Will Smith today again, man. The brother been going through some things, right? And this is what I hear, and I think Will Smith problem. Like a lot of celebrities are that they're uneducated, right? They are uneducated, meaning they don't have the knowledge base, and and the intelligence to talk, to explain, right? So, Will Smith has created more problems for himself, more beef, by not being able to explain the beef or the reason for his actions. See what I'm saying? He is not, and that is lack of knowledge. He don't know how to explain. And then they have a fear of being wrong. So they don't know how to correct themselves when they are wrong. Explain how they made a mistake. They thought this, but this what it was. Most celebrities lack that skill. People on the internet, people with podcasts lack that skill. See what I'm saying? If Tupac and Biggie come back to life, a lot of people gonna be wrong, and they're gonna have to find the words to say to their audience, their followers, that they are wrong. Right? So yeah, man. So he really, it is disappointing today, because I got a little people, so I got a little stammer. I stutter sometimes when I get winded or excited, angry. But I went to speech class in Catholic school, elementary school, 1 through 8. I went to speech. I had speech therapy. They put me out of class. I had to go to, I don't know what I did, but I went to speech. I had outside speech. My mother took me down there by Wayne State University as a boy to speech. And then when I got to Wayne State, I had to take oral speaking, and I had to stand in front of class and give speeches. So I don't have a problem with public speaking, right? It's just, it's inherited, right? To go Ken, that's Kenny Flay, but so I don't have a problem talking with anybody. But people used to say, "Oh, stutterers lie." That's not true. Some people say when you stutter, you start. In some cases, but if you are not a stutterer and you being interrogated or hard questioned and you start stuttering, you may be lying. But for people that have that issue, it's not a tell that you are lying. So with me, having an issue sometimes, and still being able to do what I do, it is disappointing that Will Smith cannot address this drama that has come into his life, right? Where he wants to fight. So you don't want to fight, because if you wanted to fight, you would fight the people that's really banging on you today. And it ain't me. I'm just showing you, Will Smith has ducked a lot of people, or 2, 3, 4 people, 4, 5 people that, would rather see him in close quarters. Right? So I'm gonna show you something. This video might be an hour. It is clips from this African American woman podcaster, Tasha K. Unwind with Tasha K. She is not liked a lot by celebrities. She airs out. I think she was sued by Kevin Hart. She has said, I think it was her. She was sued by Kevin Hart and some more people, but she still bangs away, right? So I'm gonna share some clips of Will Smith's friend from 40 years now. And he got beef. He got real beef with, Will and Jada. It was, he done some work for Jada, and Jada being stubborn and trying to be a bully, didn't want to pay him. And, he went off. And so Jada not paying him, this is how I see this 1-year-old, 2-year-old beef. Jada not paying him made him air them out. So, so the court would, lawyer would ask a judge if he was going to interrogate somebody, permission to treat him as a hostile witness, Your Honor. And so to keep in mind, he got, he had beef with Will and Jada. So, you can't take everything, as 100% fact unless you have 100% fact, right? So he just, I think he was mad at the time. They was playing with his money. It was about $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, and that's nothing to them. They could have been paid them, and so he was rightfully to be angry at them because it didn't have to go that far where he not get his money. He done some work, and both sides agreed that he done some work, and so he went wrong by not stating what the full amount he wanted before he started the work. So, him and Jada should have agreed on a price. You know what I'm saying? And maybe got a half when he started and half when he finished. And that would have cut out all this other nonsense, So, man, and Jada was real tough. She's real tough, man. Real tough, real tight with the money. Don't want to be used, taken advantage of. But, I think they were both wrong because they did not set a price. And I think Jada wanted a discount. And we had to tell Dr. Umar, we can't, black people that do business to business with each other, we got to pay the full price to keep us in business. You see? So, yeah, man. So I'm gonna share some Brother Bilal. His name is Brother Bilal Salam. He from Philadelphia. He telling some tales on Will and Jada. So now I'm not trying to play my auntie. And some of the things, y'all gonna have to check the full video yourself, but some of the things got through when he's talking about Will. So I'm not trying to start no mess with my auntie. I haven't fallen out with anybody. Will, man, he don't grow. This is, in today's age, explaining your side from the safety and comfortability of wherever you are, your car, your home, your office, your hotel, your plane, your set, your trailer, your mansion, your other house, the beach, wherever, overseas. It's not that difficult to say, oh, somebody got it, and just address it. It's wow, that's really no growth, man. So I'm bang on him some more. I'm out. Peace.
To know that is how me and Will got back together. They were trying to recruit me into Scientology, and it just never that never played out.
Damn. Okay, so did Jada say anything to you? Like when she called, she just invited you and then
she just called me. It was crazy. She called me out of the blue and invited me to the Celebrity Center. But when you hear Celebrity Center, you're not thinking about Scientology. So I just happened to Google the address because I'm like, yo, are they trying to set me up? It's been about 3-4 months, So I'm just like, this is odd. She know I don't really rock with her.
Yeah.
And she's made it perfectly clear that she don't like me.
Let's talk about that real quick. I mean, why, and I know you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, why don't you and Jada fuck with each other? Like, what happened?
So here's the thing. No,
Since
heck no. I'm not having, no. Heck no. There wasn't no closure.
Did DuaneMartin ever try to come to you and talk to you?
Listen, because see, here's the thing. When you're dealing with a real cat, it's just like, listen, that's y'all thing. Like, I'm not gay bashing Will. I feel that Will should just come out, right? Because it's going to eventually come out. My problem is Will is hurting more people protecting his secrets, right? Because you're trying to hide all these things and you're building up you're hurting so many people to try to hide what you're doing. So, for example, let's say, like this is what Jada makes the new people do. And I ain't going to say no, they probably been there after myself, right? They will make you check into a rehab and they'll pay for the rehab. Even though you're not on drugs, they're going to pay for the rehab. And you have to go if you want to work with them, right? Or be in their circumference. And so forth and so on. It was big crisis management. Many people tell you Will was driving around California. I mean, he's gone. He brought Dwayne a club called Zen Lounge, and Will would come in there and just be drinking and like this wasn't the Will. And one of the things that Jada has over him, Will lost it and beat the shit out of Jada. I mean, beat the dog shit out of her. That so bad that they had to make a makeshift hospital in their home so that it couldn't get out to the public. So that pain of Will seeing Jada fucking Mark Anthony on their couch in their home, right? Because this is fact. He just couldn't take it and he whipped her ass so much that she had to get face surgery and everything. If you look at her face, you could see where she had surgery around her cheeks and all that stuff. So Will don't want that to get out there. This is another thing.
How did you find out about it?
I talked to Will. Will was a basket case. Will was a damn basket case. Like I told you, his lover, DuaneMartin, and anybody can see it on the records. That club was owned by Will. That's what I'm saying. These private investigators brought me everything to support what I am saying. So that lounge DuaneMartin said it was owned by Will. Will brought him that. The Bentley, Will brought him that. The home he lived in, Will gave him the money. Boom. Some of the roles that DuaneMartin got, Will called BET to get him on there. Like, this is factual stuff. We're not dealing in speculation. I'll let everybody else speculate because they're not from the inside. You know, I'm from the inside giving you the information to the outside. So, you know, that's when she gained supreme control over Will. And as you see, she put so she got rid of all of the top guys around Will, you know, that were real friends and replaced them with her people. He like that. I
want to wear some dresses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen.
He grooming his son right now. So listen. And I don't know too many heterosexual men as out here grooming their sons. You know. But that's Hollywood for you.
Okay.
Tell me about the day you woke up and you saw Will Smith and Dwayne in bed. Now, were they both married at the time? Weren't divorced?
Of course.
Okay.
So, you know, Will called me and said, hey, Jada and I produced. So Will, I strike that. One of Will's team members called me and said, Will and Jada are producing a show called All of Us. And Will wants you to come hold them down on the show. He's not going to be there every day. Will and Jada's not going to be on the show every day. So as soon as I heard Jada name, I was like, no, I'm not interested. You see what I do on my Instagram. I'm getting it. Mm-hmm. What I look like going to work on the WB show, right? I'm getting it, right? Okay. I'm having it my way. So I said, tell Will, thank you. I really appreciate, because you know you got to keep the peace. I really appreciate this opportunity, but you know, that's not for me. So I get a call back in probably 7 minutes. The girl Janice said he wasn't asking.
Oh.
So I said, damn. So I gotta stop everything I'm doing, of course. So I was like, all right, cool. So, she told me, to go to CBS Radford studio, gave me all the information. I see Will there, and he tells me, and I found strange. He said, listen, I'm not going to be on set every day, but we're producing this show, Jada and I. He said, I need you to hold DuaneMartin down how you held me down for so many years. I'm like, what? Like, in my mind, I'm like, why do you need me to hold DuaneMartin down on this little ass TV show?
Yeah, like, don't he got a wife?
Right. Well, just holding down, making sure he is day to day, right? And I'm just,
so he basically wants you to be his assistant. Like
yes.
how you were to him.
Yes, absolutely.
For a TV show.
For a TV show.
Because that's all he had going on. He ain't had no movies or nothing.
No, but Will and Jada are producing the show. But that's, I'm going to get to, it wasn't about me holding him down so that he can, work at his apex. It was, he had me spying basically on DuaneMartin because they were having a spat because Dwayne was messing with Lisa Ray's husband. I don't even notice at the time. I'm doing my product placement stuff.
That's why Lisa keeps saying DuaneMartin took my husband in her interviews.
Yes.
Because she is still mad about that to this day. DuaneMartin took my husband.
Yes. So what?
Lisa.
Yeah. That was.
And I read in between the lines because I was like, why is she saying it like that? What do you mean DuaneMartin took your husband? Baby, if he took your husband, he didn't want you. He wanted the dick.
Well,
so they would take him on guys' trips and it would be orgies and stuff.
No, I never seen any of that with Lisa Ray's husband. I'm going to tell you what I did see. So I did see Dwayne and him going out with a lot of beautiful women, hanging out, partying. Sometime I would set things up because this guy, I guess, was supposed to be a big shot, some type of ambassador or something, whatever he was.
Yeah, he was like African country or something.
Okay,
I
don't even. It's not even.
He was a light skinned nigga.
So it was just crazy. I would go ahead of time, like they used to go to the Firefox, and I would pay the valet guy $300 to make sure they can put their cars out front, and I would go find out to the manager, tell him, hey, I got
all this on a TV show salary.
Oh, listen, see, here's the thing,
because TV actors don't get paid like that.
Well, this is Will's lover. Dwayne got money. Come on, are you kidding me? You gotta look at, he bought his house for him. He bailed him out of bankruptcy. Will got subpoenaed by the FBI. Dwayne was about to go to jail for embezzling money, for hiding money in the bankruptcy with Tisha. So I want to see. It's a lot to it's so much to unpack. That's why.
Well, we have nothing but time.
Okay. Well, hopefully you'll have me back in 3 weeks as I do more interviews and I share more things because it's so much. No,
well, go ahead. We're here now. Okay. Let's talk about today.
I would go and give money to, the manager and say, hey, I need 2 girls at the table. So if any of our guests need anything, we can just basically snap our fingers and it's there. And so, then this is the thing about being a great high level assistant. You got to know how to cater to egos. So when everybody pulls up, they can park their car. They come in, there's already food on the table. You got tubes. I keep myself relevant. Like, the average person is not thinking like this, but working on with Will, your level of intellect and your level of discernment is much higher than the average person because you're functioning in a high functioning environment. So when I come to do something, I'm doing it like I'm going to do it with Will, So if that was Will coming, all these things would be done in this restaurant.
That's what he asked you to do.
Right.
So they come to the club. They out with all types of women. Yeah. Tisha's at home with the kids?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Being a good wife. All right. So, you see things, and I didn't see them two having sex, but of course, that you're talking
about Lisa Ray's husband and Dwayne.
And Dwayne, yes.
Okay, you didn't see them having sex.
No, I didn't.
But Lisa did get on the internet and say he took her husband.
Well, I knew one of the girls. What she said, that there was an orgy, and I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to get into speculation. Right. Right. I don't see that's me.
So how did you get to Will Smith and DuaneMartin?
So let me tell you. So Will did an episode of the show called All of Us, where he ironically plays Lisa Ray's love interest.
Okay.
And he starred on the show a few times. So of course he's there, and I have to take care of him. So meaning that production knows when Will come, everything should go through me. And he's wearing two hats. He's acting on this show, and he's executive producer. So we have a lunch break, and normally lunch break is never interrupted, but by Will wearing a producer hat, they say, hey, B, we need to get Will to break lunch for 15 minutes to come look at the next shot. He's a producer in the shot, not the actor. So I'm like, okay, and we already know, and if you don't know, Hollywood is the hurry up and wait game. So 3 minutes later, after them telling me, hey, you got eyes on Will, we need him to come watch this. So I'm running all over the studio. He's not in his dressing room. I go to the cafeteria. I'm like, but I see his car there. I'm like, where's this guy at? So now I'm holding Dwayne down too. So I have the keys to his dressing room. So I'm like, yo, and they're calling I'm on walkie-talkie, and they're calling my cell phone. Yo, we need to get Will here. And I'm like, yo, kind of fuck down. Like, I'm trying to find this. Like, this is unlike him, right? So, all right, I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal sex with Will.
Let me process that for a second. Who was on top?
It wasn't a top. There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him. Murder. It was murder in there.
Okay. What did you do?
I froze. What did you see? I'm not used to seeing. Listen, it's traumatizing. I've never seen it. I don't watch gay porn. You know, I never seen a man fucking another man.
Will Smith was bent over,
and Dwayne was killing him.
Condom?
I don't know. I don't.
You didn't look that close.
Listen, even when I was with the deer and headlights, and I finally said, "Oh shit," and they turned around and said, "Close the fucking door," right? So I back out the door. I'm not going in there. Fuck no, I ain't going up in there. I back out the door, lock the door, I leave, right? So now I'm off a walkie-talkie, everything. So it's chaos on the set. Nobody can get in touch with Will. Nobody can get in touch with me. So I said, all right, I gotta leave. Then I said, do I leave or do I stay? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna stay, but my position is I didn't see anything, right? So Will says, I gotta talk to you. So I said, about what? He said, you know what? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And he said, oh, you know what I'm talking. I said, well, I have no idea. What are you talking about? What we need to finish today? Like, I'm trying to get that out. So he said, no, we need to talk. So he said, listen, I made a call. Some papers are going to come here today. I need you to sign them. And I said, why am I signing papers? And he said, listen, I'm trying to protect you. So he says 3 things that make me scared, because I fear no man but Allah. But I don't fear nothing but Allah. And he said that you remember the transsexual, I hope I'm saying it right, who got caught with Eddie Murphy. He said, you know what happened to him, right? I had no idea what happened to the transsexual that got caught in the car with Eddie Murphy.
Me either. What happened?
So I go home and Google it. They murdered him. Or the transsexual. I don't know to say him or her. I don't know what's politically correct. So I hope I'm not offending anyone.
It's transgender, but
okay, transgender.
Trans woman.
So okay, so they said, now you can Google this yourself. This is one of the things he said. They said that the transgender that was caught in the car with Eddie Murphy, where Eddie Murphy paid this guy to have oral sex, or the transgender to have oral sex, was about to start doing interviews. And back then, they paid, the internet wasn't big. They paid you gobs of money to do interviews. Mm-hmm. And they said that the transgender person locked herself out the house, tied some sheets together from a roof, and tried to swing into the apartment from the roof. This is documented. Do you know anybody that get locked out the house that's going to tie some sheets together and swing into their apartment from the roof? Mm-mm. Okay. All right.
You just break a window.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I want people to Google that. So this is what he told me. And I go home and I'm on AOL. Plug-in, not high-speed internet at this time. And I was like, oh, shit, they murdered this person, right? Then he told me that he made a song called You Saw My Blinker. But Will's claim to fame in rap is he never cursed on records, right? We'd agree, right? In that song, he calls the woman a bitch several times.
I swerved left and I swerved right, but she was still tailgating me too damn tight. To the left lane, I tried to switch, then you saw my blinker, bitch.
So I believe it's like, you saw my blinker, bitch. And then now I tell people to go Google that too. And he's talking about slapping the lady he's talking crazy. So he said, the powers that be got me to do that song. And he said, they said it will never make a light of day and they'll always protect me, even though I say I don't cuss in records. So I go home, I Google that. I do the search engine on that. It comes back, Will cussing on records. I said, this is crazy. Why haven't nobody ever called him out saying he never cussed on records? And he's obviously calling women bitches and talking about he gonna slap somebody on this record. Then he said, he referenced the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the first Aunt Viv, of how he got rid of her on the show, right? And she'll never work again. And he said, I don't want this for you. And I said, yo, I never went back. Never went back.
You didn't sign the papers?
I didn't sign the papers. I didn't talk to Will. I went to go stay with one of my friends, and I just disappeared for a minute. But this is the craziest thing ever. Guess who brought us back together?
Who?
Jada.
Really?
She calls me personally and says, I am having an event, and I would like you to be there. She said, it's at the Celebrity Center.
Okay.
And I said, well, what is that? She said, oh, it's just a place where a bunch of celebrities get together and, Will's going to be there and I just want y'all to be happy. And, I want y'all still to be friends. And this don't even sound like her. So I didn't go. Mm-hmm. I get a call from another one of her assistants and said, oh, Jada's having another event at the Celebrity Center and she wants you to be there. So I said, all right, give me the address. Give me all the information. Mm-hmm. I Google it. Guess what she was trying to get me to come?
Where?
To a Scientology center.
Oh.
I said, okay. No, thank you. You can't even make these stories up. You can't even make these stories up. So Will and I end up getting...
So the Celebrity Center is called the Scientology Center.
Yes. Yeah, but it's owned by the Church of Scientology. Okay. Which I have a whole chapter in the book about because Jada went in on that as well as Will. And that was the sickest display of behavior I've ever saw.
Give me some examples.
Leaves to prep for the next day. So that gives me a 17-hour day. So I got to go home, sleep, do what I got to do, but my phone's ringing all through the night because it's fluid. There might be a screen. There might be a change in the scenes. The director might want to meet with Will. The producer might want to meet with Will. So I'm there 2 hours early. It's a lot of work. It takes dedication to be an assistant of one of the number one actors in the world. So it's like I didn't have a life, but I was cool with that because I know that I was saving my money.
How much was he paying you?
He paid me well. he paid like, I can't say that he didn't. No, it wasn't like I was making a lot of money, but you don't have to spend money.
Like, as long as I've known my sisters, my mama. So you guys, did you grow up together?
Yeah. So ironically, in Philly, I worked in radio. I guest host on a radio show in Philly called The Rap Digest with Mimi Brown, Philly's best WDAS. Man, I'm getting
okay. I see that microphone in front of you.
Yes. Yeah, I get fluid with it.
Okay.
And that's where I met Will. Because, during that time, in 87, 86, rap was emerging in Philly very much so. And, he used to come up to the station and, do interviews. At that time, he had the Parents Just Don't Understand out. So he was popping, but, he wasn't a worldwide phenomenon. But an incident happened at the radio station where the guys who put out the record on Will before he made it big, one of the guys came up to the station to put pressure on him, basically to extort him. He's been trying to extort him prior to that.
For what?
Well, he feels that he contributed to Will becoming a superstar by investing. You know Philly's a big Muslim town, is a big extortion town. So if you're not a gorilla, you're not going to survive in Philly if you got money. You might as well pack it up and go. And I mean, it's a sad state of affairs, but anybody know that Philadelphia culture, you got to stand strong. You definitely got to stand strong.
I just know the culture of the food.
Okay.
Absolutely amazing. Okay. Especially the African community there, the West African community.
Yes.
For the suya, all that stuff. My God.
What you talking about?
What?
So, but Philly's a very dangerous place, always been a very dangerous place. So that day, it was 6 people in the studio. It was me and I who actually hosted the show. It was the gangster and his friend, and it was Will and Charlie who ended up coming to the studio, and a guy that I call Charlie the Rat Mac now, but I'll get into that later. So they came in. It was about 20 people in the studio. The guy told everybody to leave. The guy he was with was brandishing a weapon. So everybody ran out the studio. There was about 20 people in there. At the time, Mimi said, Bilal's going to stay in the studio with me. So they didn't say anything. And I knew this individual. He was Muslim, and he knew me to be Muslim. He didn't say anything. So I stayed there. So when Will and Charlie the Rat Mac came, that's when things took a terrible, terrible turn. So while Will was, on a microphone being interviewed, the guy was like, yeah, you better tell everybody how, this guy helped you out, put money up for you. Now you acting like you don't know anybody. So at the time, Charlie the Rat Mac was kind of his bodyguard, and, Will gave him a nod, and Charlie hit this guy so hard, like blood gushed out his eye. So it was like a blood scene in there. So the guy went down. He tried to get up. Charlie hit him again. Blood splatters again. And it's like a blood scene in there. So
Will Smith.
Yeah, well, no, Charlie Mack did.
Charlie Mack.
Will told him he
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like a gangster?
Yeah. Well, it was the gangster's, I guess, enforcer. So they didn't do nothing. They knew not to do nothing to this particular guy. They knew that. But the enforcer guy got it. So
he had the protection of the streets.
Yeah. Pretty much so.
I don't know. Will Smith, because he's like a cartoon rapper. He's not was he doing more hardcore rap back in the day?
No, he didn't do hardcore rap. That's what made him special. See, you can't do what everybody else does. Like, he stayed in his lane and became authentic to what, he had. But Will knew a lot of goons and a lot of gangsters. So
okay.
Will
just gave somebody the eye.
Yeah, and Charlie.
And the person almost lost their eye.
Oh, so let me. Oh, this story is going to be.
Yeah,
incredible.
Please. I'm sorry. I just had to.
Yeah. It's a lot to digest. We
got time.
Okay. I love that.
Go ahead.
So the guy's bleeding. There's blood everywhere. So I get up and I'm like, yo, y'all gotta get the fuck out. Oh,
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I just want to be okay. I just want to be authentic to the conversation because nothing that is new.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's at the end of the day, it's like I'm not casting aspersions. It just is what it is.
Right.
I'm not. One thing I'm not going to do in none of these interviews as I promote the book and reveal a lot of things.
And your book is called Demonic Circle.
So yes, it's Will.
Where's my copy?
Well, okay, so let's get into that. So
the
name of the book is Will and Jada Smith Demonic Circle.
Okay.
It was due to come out in December, but Will and Jada's team heard that I was putting out a book. Everybody knows if you Google, Jada book was supposed to come out in 2024. They heard my book was coming out, and there was a rush to get her book released before mine's.
Why do you think that is?
Because I have the information. This is the first time in history that someone from Will's Inner Circle was speaking. You don't have that. And there's nobody from their inner circle with credibility that has ever said anything. Everything has always been speculation. Period. You can't name
And so
one person.
you and Jada got smoke with each other, don't you?
Oh, we got this. Yeah, it's that lady has verbally abused me for a number of years. But at the end of the day, that's fine, because see, this is what we gotta understand. When you're trying to reach new heights in life, right, and you're trying to go places, because what I represent is thought leadership, right? It's where I come from in Philly. People don't have any idea how hard it is. So when people see me doing my thing with celebrities or being with Will or doing this or doing that, that's possibilities. They look at me and say, I can do it. So as I move and groove, it ain't just for me. It ain't just for my family. It's for all my Muslim brothers and sisters back in Philly, knowing that if you apply yourself, educate yourself, and you willing to fight, you can go places, you know. But when I already came, you know, I was a street guy. So all the goons know me in the street and respected me. I respected them, and they gave me information, and they saw things within me that I didn't see in myself. So that gave me the strength to keep fighting to the point that I really didn't have to fight anymore, because the reputation was there. So, yeah, I represent possibility. I want people to see me as my people in Philly and all across the world see me here with you. I want to let them know that it's possible for them to get right here, but it's no easy task. You got to educate. You got to be reading, writing, studying, traveling, and really sucking in uncommon information so that you can grow and that see, for me, I consider myself a beacon of light. Like, you looked at my Instagram business with, done things with. It is, people are attracted to light, period. Gay porn, to learn how to kiss a man, to learn feminine attributes, right? So I find that bizarre. They flew him out to Europe to watch live sex shows, right? And I'm like, yo, this, like, I'm from Philly, so I'm just like, this is he's going in. He's, in his mind, he has to know how a gay man interacts with people, talking, mannerisms, getting ready for a love scene with another man. I'm like, why are you, like, in my mind, I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, why, you have a successful TV show. Why go to playing a gay man? And why go to the extremes? Because anybody know Will, when he puts his mind to something, every character, he goes in solid. You watching gay porn, you're going to live sex shows.
That means he had to get aroused by watching it.
That's what. And we end up finding that became, I believe, that became his addiction to men. That was the addiction to men, because he was in a safe environment, right? And they made that environment safe for him. So whoever he was, he could now become. And that created a monster. So I just want to give people a psychological, the psychological aspect of this. If you're playing a gay man and they're putting millions and millions of dollars into making a film, they're going to make sure that you're training and you're preparing for this movie. You're going to have to be in a circumference of homosexuality, period. I'm talking about for months.
And you know what's so funny? I've never seen 6 Degrees Separation. I've never seen it. Probably because, how old was I when that movie came out? I can't remember. But, my family, they didn't allow us to watch any, like, sex scenes and stuff coming up.
Yeah.
And I thank my family for that, because, like, when you have, access to, like, sex scenes and stuff, it plugs into the psyche in ways that you can't get it out. You'll always remember that visual sexually. And if it aroused you when you was a kid, it's going to arouse you when you're an adult. And so I'm so glad that my parents made me close my eyes or, and do stuff like that, so I wouldn't, be exposed to any of that. So
that's heavy.
When you have, access to, like, sex scenes and stuff, it plugs into the psyche in ways that you can't get it out. You'll always remember that visual sexually. And if it aroused you when you was a kid, it's going to arouse you when you're an adult. And so I'm so glad that my parents made me close my eyes or, and do stuff like that. So I wouldn't,
Right.
be exposed to any of that. So
that's heavy. That's heavy. So that right there cemented Will and to, I believe, being bisexual, which I know he's bisexual. I showed you a couple of things.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I got proof. I'm not, like I said, once again, I'm Muslim. I cannot say that this man is bisexual. And then I saw sexual acts that I walked in on.
Who'd you walk in on?
Him and DuaneMartin.
Okay.
I can give you the story. I can unpack it if you like.
Please unpack it. I had to unpack just that because, there's been rumors. And of course, like I said, Tisha Campbell.
Good friend of mine, my sister.
Didn't even know that, Will owned her house with her husband.
Yes.
So you walked in.
So
tell me how you came to know all this, please.
So here's the thing. So me working with Will for a number of years and on a number of movies, right? I went to do my own thing, and so I was no longer working with Will, but it wasn't like we were at odds, though. Like, it was nothing bad. He gave me money to start my business. Like, there was a exit. It was an exit plan that came with money. And I still had access because it wasn't nothing nefarious the way that I left. So it wasn't like, it was a bad thing. So I'm doing my thing, and I'm into the product placement, celebrity product placement. So just to unpack that a little bit, that brands pay me money to get their product to celebrities.
Okay.
And I make money when these celebrities wear the product, they take a picture or do a video.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
I just wanted to explain to the people, because they like, hey, what is that? So essentially, it's a relationship-driven business, and then if you look at my
I love it. I ain't got nothing to do with this. You know what I'm saying? You are the reason we're able to do what we do. But they're gonna say, who needs enemies when they got friends like you?
Well, let me address that, and that's a very good question.
Okay. So
the answer to that question, during the latter years of our relationship, Will was not my friend. I was his friend. So I'm dealing with a person now.
Oh, wow.
Who's an enemy, right? It's not like, there's beef, right? Now, if I was doing this without any beef, then I shouldn't even be here, right? There's no purpose. Right. There's no purpose of being here.
So there's true smoke.
Oh, smoke. Oh, we're going to get it. It's smoke.
And so let's back up. And I'm glad. And towards the end of the interview, you know what I'm saying? I want you to explain that, what I'm saying? And throughout it as well. But, I just kind of had to put that out there because, we don't control like how people perceive any of the content here. Will, people either love them or they hate them. And people are really not fucking with Jada right now.
Absolutely.
Heavy.